welcome back to Marveling in the Madness Reacts. Today we're going to be reacting to 10 signs of apparently us living in a parallel universe, an ancient art. Fluff that whole beginning, but we're going to keep going. So press play and let's go.
Did cultures in ancient times interact with visitors from parallel universes who influenced their art? Some of these ancient carvings, paintings, and artifacts seem to depict a world that doesn't really match with our own historical records. I mean, what does this cave art look like it's depicting? If you were to ask me, I'd say someone had just watched a bunch of Bob Lazar documentaries and then decided to paint some aliens onto some rocks. The thing is, these cave paintings are tens of thousands.
I'll tell you what they look like. They look
these
like
are depictions of what are
lady
called
who
Wanjinas by
messed up
ancient
that
tribes in
famous
Australia.
art.
These tribes
Barely
found
hear
the
I said it looks like that lady who accidentally messed up that painting somewhere at a church. That's what they look
Oh
like.
yeah, I remember that. That was quite funny. I mean, I was going to say it just looks like some bad art that I wouldn't take seriously, but
Yeah, it just looks like bad art. But anyway, we'll carry on. I've turned it down a bit. Hopefully you can hear me now.
Australia have culture and tradition
That's a bit better.
been alive for at least 60,000 years, maybe even older. The Wanjinas were described as sky beings or spirits from the clouds who came down from the Milky Way during dream time. They created the earth and all its inhabitants. The legend goes that these beings spent some time on earth creating, teaching, and being gods to the Aboriginal people. Eventually, the Wanjinas disappeared. Some descended into the earth, while others returned to the sky and can be seen at night as moving lights. So, you know, by the sounds of that, maybe the alien connection isn't that far off after all. I find this super fascinating because, I mean, damn, these things really do look like your classic bulging-eyed, light-skinned gray that 90% of alien encounters are described looking like. So, did these beings really exist? Were they?
We've got such a stereotypical site view of aliens, haven't we?
Yeah, I say that's just generic what we think aliens would look like.
Space or another realm.
I suppose it's generic and for a reason, I guess. I don't know. We'll keep going.
The State Department of Archaeology and Culture reached out to the Indian Space Research Organization for help with some ancient rock paintings found in caves near Charama in the Kankar district. Archaeologist J.R. Bhagat has been studying these rock paintings and believes they could be around 10,000 years old, which is pretty insane because some of these things are a lot like the types of sci-fi aliens we imagine today. Bhagat thinks these cave paintings depict extraterrestrials and UFOs.
They're just like people to me.
Large,
I'm not gonna lie to you.
figures that look like they're descending from the sky.
I mean, the head's a little bit crazy.
That does look more like a skull, that one.
That looks a little bit demonic, I'm not gonna lie. If I saw that waiting for me at the end of my bed, I think I'd have some choice words. I'm not gonna lie to you. So good mocking it now while it's a picture, but if I saw the end of my bed,
they'd be doing some serious prey.
Oh, 100%.
Which translates to the small-sized ones. But according to
it looks like the Slender Man. That's what it looks like.
People would come down.
I mean, the Slender Man didn't have a big head though.
Flying objects and whisk away villagers who would never.
There's quite a consistency in these images, but they all look a bit. I'm not sure they're like aliens.
I mean, we also got to remember that's like what, apparently 60,000 years ago. So
Egypt, among your usual hieroglyphs and carvings, there's a set of strange images that really do look like modern-day aircraft and vehicles. I mean, take a look at these things. One kind of looks like a helicopter. Some say the one on the top right looks like a submarine. I kind of see a yacht myself. Below that, you have what looks like a jet plane or an advanced spacecraft of some kind, perhaps.
That's a little weird.
Why there are a lot of wild theories about these carvings. One of the most popular theories is that these carvings are a sign that there could have been advanced technology in ancient Egypt, possibly influenced by extraterrestrials. That aliens visited Earth thousands of years ago, shared their technology.
It's a bit disappointing if that's the sum total of their technology they developed from aliens.
Again, if this really was the case,
some of the stuff we'll struggle to do today, though. Like, if you ever watch documentaries about it, it's kind of weird, like how everything is like perfectly symmetrical and smooth.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I know it's very impressive, but like you'd think if they were so highly advanced these races, they'd build something, they'd do or come up with something slightly more than just a building with slightly impressive stacks of stones.
I mean, maybe it was more impressive back in the day. Like, we're only reacting to it now.
When it's
when it's all
Well, I more mean they would have had technology. Surely, if they claim as aliens, they'd have had technology like they would have been able to help them develop motors and advanced medicine, advanced weaponry.
Hey, it could have been. It all could have been washed away in the great. Was it not? Is it Noah's Ark? The big wave thing that came. Yeah, biblical stories. I did that.
Or at least some sort of
You mean the
highly
flood?
advanced piece of machinery for the time.
Same difference.
What was this meant to depict? Did the ancient Mayans have access to technology we have no physical knowledge of? And could this piece and others like it somehow have crossed over from another reality where there was advanced technology like this back then? Who knows? The Piri Reis map is incredibly weird. It's an old map made way back in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral named Piri Reis. What's so mysterious about it though? Well, it shows parts of the world that shouldn't have been known about back then, like Antarctica drawn also without ice. And everything is drawn with a surprising amount of accuracy. Many historians have looked at the map,
A little weird.
of it, which is only about a third, and most agree that it just doesn't seem like something that could have been made at the time. So there are all sorts of conspiracy theories about how Piri Reis would have made the map. Some say he had access to ancient maps from Atlantis or some other lost civilization. And you know what I'm gonna say next? Was there some help from an advanced visitor or visitors? It's impossible to say. All we can do is ponder how this guy seemed to know so much about places that wouldn't get explored fully until many centuries later. Off to Scotland now, we have the Cocknoe Stone. The Cocknoe Stone is this huge rock in Scotland covered in all kinds of weird carvings. The stone is about 5,000 years old, and it's covered in these swirling patterns, circles, and strange symbols. One of the coolest things about this stone is that it's massive, about 42 by 26 feet, all covered in what is essentially ancient graffiti. And as for what the carvings mean, no one knows, but some archaeologists think they might be maps of the stars or some kind of astronomical calendar of some kind. They could also be religious symbols, or
Look like
there
drawing
could be
stars.
messages on here from something, perhaps.
Maybe the aliens just trolling. You know?
Again, some people think aliens could have had a hand in
Imagine.
Speaking of graffiti,
Like, ah,
the stone actually
To be
has
fair, if I
30
was
years.
65, but
I was gonna say,
Well-
like 30,000 years from now, they'll be like, oh, we just did this for fun. Like how we just do it or just leave stuff. They were like, yeah, we're just gonna do that. Then some humans will pick it up and be like, yeah.
actor.
They're
What
trying
does
to
it
make
mean?
Was found in 1936, and the tomb of an
To be fair, if I was an
ancient
alien
Egyptian
of an
named
advanced
Sabu.
race that
The
could
reason
travel
this
to
weird
planets, I would
object
probably
has been
just troll
referred
the
to as the
inhabitants for
Disc
fun.
of Sabu.
Oh, 100%.
What the hell is it exactly? Well, your guess is as good as mine, and apparently as good as most historians or archaeologists, because they're not sure either. Of course, they can make more educated guesses than us, but the only definitive thing you can say is that this thing looks very out of place. There are strange circular structures in parts of the Middle East, often referred to as wheels. They're found in spots in Syria and Saudi Arabia. They're kind of like big stone wheels set into the desert, and they're super old, about 2,000 years or even older. And much like the famous Nazca lines, which we've talked about plenty of times on the channel, they can only be viewed from above, and nobody is exactly sure what their purpose was. The wheels weren't really noticed until the 20s when
What was that last image? That was a bit weird. It's like there's this giant spider thing.
It's just like a giant ant, wasn't it?
amazing airplanes came around. From the ground, they're hard to spot. I mean, you could see that there are stones
Probably for the
there,
gods,
but you obviously
probably.
don't get the full picture until you're
Creating
up
something for the
high
gods to view.
down. So why
Yeah, it is a little odd still though.
be appreciated back then?
There's a lot of
Well,
things that
some
they did,
people
like
think
a
the
lot of
artists
races
didn't
did
make them
things
for
and
themselves
nations
or
did things
the people
to
around them, but
for the gods to
beings
see,
they
didn't they?
believed were looking down at them.
Oh, no different to the Bible. They made sacrifices,
Was
which
there
now
a
I would think is
reason, or
ludicrous.
did they have some
Well,
flying friends up
Well,
above? You tell me.
What happened back in the
What
day?
are these, right? Ancient depictions of monsters are always
not necessarily
fascinating,
ludicrous,
and
but
I
yes,
mean,
they
that
don't
has to
fit
be
into our
what these
current
are, right? These
way of
sculptures
doing
That's a
things.
little weird.
ancient Iraq, way back in
Yeah, a
the
bit weird.
Ubaid period, around 4000 BC. They look sort
Like
of
it doesn't even look remotely human. At least some of the things have like humanoid shapes.
so are these just imaginative pieces of art, or were the sculptors capturing beings
They look a
they
bit like
really
lizards,
saw
to be
or
honest.
even
It's the lizard
interacted
people!
with in real life? They have these
The
long
Queen!
slit-like eyes and what look to be snouts that are human. Archaeologists think these figurines could be symbolic or part of religious beliefs. Some
That's why I said the Queen's a lizard. Deal with it.
the story. As always, What do you think?
What, Charles's
The
wife is a
crucifixion of
lizard?
Christ painting is a
Yep.
famous artwork that shows Jesus nailed to the cross. And this is a scene that's been painted and drawn by artists for
So many different.
But in one version of this painting, one made by an unknown artist who's been lost to time, something strange seems to be lurking in the background. Take a look. So you see those flying objects in the back? What do they look like to you? In this 1350 fresco from the Visaki
It looks like
Monastery
something
in
inside of a
Kosovo,
star.
Serbia, there are these weird flying objects in the sky. There are two people seated inside them. Now, something important to note is that this was painted long after the events depicted in the painting, so it's not like whoever made this was drawing exactly what they saw. Obviously, there's a lot of artistic license here. But it was also made long before planes were a thing. So what are these flying things supposed to be? Could there have been visitors flying through the sky at the time the artist was creating the work and he just decided to add them in? It's possible. Also very likely that these are just abstract versions of the sun and moon. But with all of that said, I've been your host,
It could
Jake.
be like an asteroid. You want to do an asteroid? You don't know.
It just looks like a star or an asteroid, yeah.
Stay to an end. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Still next time.